The next section we're going to explore in the user interface of 3DCoat is the E-Panel. And one thing you'll notice is that it's not visible initially. You actually have to evoke it with a hotkey or go with your cursor above the tool panel. On the right hand side, when you see this icon, it will open the E-Panel to you. So it's stowed away, hidden out of view until you need it. You can also more conveniently access it by hitting the E key, where it will come directly beneath your cursor. One thing I would like to point out while this E-Panel is still visible is the Ignore Back Faces option. It's relatively self-explanatory, but suffice it to say, if you want to make a selection to paint or to sculpt, whatever the case may be, if you want to select all the way through the model, you want to uncheck this. If you want to restrict it so that only what your camera can see will be selected or modified, then make sure this is checked. The border width is really pertaining to anti-aliasing around the edges. Depth limit is applicable in certain circumstances. You probably won't need to use it very often. Perhaps in the sculpt workspace, when you are using tools like the cutoff tool or the Vox hide tool, where you may want to cut or hide only a portion of the model, there are also options for using an on-plane function. And what that means is you will have a visible plane that you can move toward the camera or away from the camera using hotkeys. But the depth limit is just one option for you to utilize. So let's now look at the first few draw modes, and they are applicable to stylus pressure. So if you have a Wacom tablet, your stylus pressure will modulate different aspects of your brush. As an example, you can see the icon here. It's sharp on the edges, and it's completely opaque. There is no fading like you see with some of the others. And that gives you a visual indication what brush pressure will do. It will modulate your brush radius and the depth. Your brush pressure will not modulate the opacity. These, where it fades on the edges, will modulate opacity. So it's very easy to recognize when you look at it. But until you're more comfortable using these options, you can always hover over them to see the tooltip, which will explain their function. Okay, as I mentioned, this will allow the brush pressure to modulate the radius of your brush and the depth also. With the second one, you can see that it's faded on the edges. Your depth and your opacity will be modulated, but not your radius. Looking at the first icon, we can see that the radius goes from large to small. Here it's constant all the way through, so that indicates there is no modulation of the brush radius, but depth and opacity are. With the third icon, all three attributes are modulated by pen pressure: radius, depth, and opacity. The fourth one is much the same, except that it will reduce the brush radius as you increase brush pressure. The fifth one is constant. It is like using the mouse to paint with. That means there is no brush pressure modulation. But that can be very helpful in many cases, because whether you're sculpting or painting, you may want constant pressure across your brush stroke. This one is actually quite similar to this one, except you cannot make a brush stroke. Its purpose is to create individual dots or instances. Then you have a few different line or spline creation methods. These are somewhat deprecated to some degree because they existed in the original versions of 3DCoat, but have since been supplanted by much superior curves tools, which can be accessed by clicking on the closed spline draw mode or hitting the Q hotkey. But they're still there because in the right situation, they are still useful. This one especially, it's still very powerful. It is especially useful when you want to create a path, whether it's straight or curved, and have 3DCoat brush along that path. You can do the same and more by clicking on the closed spline draw mode, and it will utilize the new curves tools. That will then open the curves editor, which is at the bottom of the toolbar. So we will cover this one in a completely separate video because there are so many features to cover, as you can see. Let's go ahead and get started creating a few samples here of each. So I'm going to create a new blank layer. I can hit the space bar to bring the tools to me, much like the E-Panel brings all of the draw modes to you. So yeah, here are all the tools, and you can pick a color. I'm going to choose a bright color, and I will choose the first draw mode. So I'm going to right click and drag right to scale my brush up. I'm going to use light pressure and then increase it as I go along the stroke, and then go back to light pressure. Light pressure, hard pressure. As I mentioned, it does not modulate the opacity, so that's why we don't see it faded on the edges. But our depth is definitely modulated, and we can enable displacement here. Obviously, the poly count is a bit too low for it to accurately display the displaced mesh, so I will adjust that. So now we have a highly subdivided version that allows us to see actual displacement instead of normal map depth. Also, the activity bar icons are a little bit hard to see with this HDRI map, so I will change the background. And then I will change to a softer brush alpha. Let's hit the E key, and I will choose the second option, light pressure, hard pressure, and light pressure. Again, there's no modulation with this one of the brush radius, only depth and opacity. I'll hit Ctrl Z to undo a few times. I'll turn off Show Displaced Mesh so that the performance is a little bit more brisk. I'll start off light, very light, press hard, go back to light. So we can see the difference there. I can hit the delete key to remove any paint information on this layer. An important side note is, whatever channels are enabled, hitting the delete key will delete all the information from those channels. Now I'll do a sample of the third draw mode, and remember this one does modulate all three attributes: radius, depth, and opacity. So light pressure, hard pressure, then light pressure again. Hit the E key once more, and the fourth one is like the third, as I mentioned before, with the lone exception of the brush radius shrinking as you apply more pressure. So I will skip that one and proceed with the fifth draw mode. Hard pressure and light pressure, it doesn't matter. It's constant. Whatever my parameter value is here, it's going to apply that constantly. Allow me to demonstrate. Let's put opacity at 50%. And I will go ahead and hide the displaced mesh. And yeah. As you can see, it's constantly applying 50%. Previously, it was constantly applying the value I had here at 100%. I will hit the delete key. Now, let's look at the dot stroke draw mode. As I mentioned, it really is good for single instances. Let's now go to the activity bar, and from the brush alpha panel, I will select a different brush alpha. Right click and drag to the left to decrease it in size. And I want to switch the color to gray. And we'll increase the metalness. It's for single clicking. And again, my opacity is at 50%, so it will look much different when I put it back to 100%. Okay, and I can go back to displace mesh. Okay, so I know I would need to increase the subdivision levels in order to get a better looking result. Okay, so the larger my brush, the more polygons I actually have to create that shape, so it will appear to be at a higher resolution. Why I'm seeing the fading is because the brush alpha is faded on the edge. If you try to make a brush stroke of it, it won't work. Okay, I'm trying to swipe across and it just will not allow me to do that. So let's hit the delete key one more time. We'll now look at the line draw mode. As I mentioned before, this is a legacy draw mode from the early days of 3DCoat, and it still has some usefulness. If you're in a hurry to create some straight lines, this can definitely do the job. But if you need a bit more functionality and flexibility, you definitely want to use the newer curves. I'll now undo a few times. Let's scratch that. I'll just go ahead and hit the delete key. I think I'll also turn off the displaced mesh preview. I'll hit the E key again and then choose the vertex curves draw mode. What this effectively does is allows the creation of a line with a rounded corner. So you click the first point and then the second point, and you'll notice as you move your cursor away from that second point, it shows or previews a rounded corner. Clicking a third time will not only generate that rounded corner, but continue the line building process. So just continue to repeat the same process over and over until you are finished. Next is the curve stroke draw mode, but I'll stop the video here and cover that and the stamp draw modes in the next video. So stay tuned and thank you for watching.